You can support this show at patreon.com/ASAPodcasting. Hello, welcome back. Skyrim Addict podcast. I'm Michael, joined by Ray.
Hello, hello.
And Victor.
Good evening.
And we had a little some mod news. Was it a mod conference? What are we calling it?
Yeah, the C3 mod conference.
Yeah, conference. And I know Jess hosted the official creators on.
Yeah, so she did the panel where they talked about the new creation program. It was Eleonora, King Gath, Shoe Burglar, and Train. And
starring cast.
Yeah,
she just did such a excellent job. She was really able to get them to talk about whether or not they like the program, whether it's something that they're happy that they're involved with. And there's certain stuff they couldn't talk about because they're restricted by Bethesda to talk about the numbers and everything.
Yeah.
But King Gath was able to share that he made more from the creation program than he has in all the years of his Patreon.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
They made a really good point about how there's never going to be a situation where all modders that are in the creation group make paid mods. They're not forced to make paid mods. And they have a lot of situations where they don't want the mods to be paid mods. Because if they're paid mods, they actually have to provide a certain level of support that they don't have to provide if it's just a mod, that they threw together because it was something that they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And instead of just leaving it on their computer, they shared it for everybody to play around with if they want to, but they don't have to provide technical support for it. So all four of the people that were there were, adamant about the fact that, they were not going to have all of their mods on, paid mods.
It was just specific ones they're doing for that specific.
Yeah. That they create just for that purpose.
So did they discuss because there's definitely I don't know what you call it, not a conflict necessarily, but sort of a push-pull, because you've got mods that rely on SKSE. SKSE is an all-volunteer organization. They do everything. So, and address library and various other things like that, which are done by people voluntarily. So how is Bethesda?
So the mods that are in the creations don't use SKSE.
So they're packaged. They're fully packaged with their own.
And that was one of the things that King Gath made a big point about, was that this whole thing is actually going to help all modders because it'll expand. So he works with somebody at Bethesda and lets them know, hey, I want to be able to do this function. You need to figure out how to get that into the native game, so that then we don't have to use script extender to be
doing
able
it at the machine level, basically.
And they're in complete support of that. So he's getting new tools all the time. He's getting new programming, and he has access to specific people whose job it is to make this thing work.
course, he and his team are skilled and knowledgeable enough to know what to ask for. Right? So,
yeah, that's super helpful. So then that that opens it up further down the road for people who can use whatever tool he needs for that to do whatever mod down the road.
And, eventually it'll get where, people who play on console, which are, a majority of the people that play the games, will have much better mods available to them that would otherwise only be available to PC players that can use the script extender.
Yeah.
And the mods that are created in this creation program are fully compatible with mods that use the script.
Yeah. So they could be used side by side. And, it'll also eventually benefit, the SKSE people, because, it's less stuff that they have to support.
Yeah.
If they have it natively built into the game. So that was really good.
Cool.
And I still haven't gotten through the entire interview, but if you really want a hardcore nerd mod,
definitely,
experience, the first panel, which was King Gath was interviewing Elminster, who created Xedit, and then what's his name, X something, who is a Fallout 76 data miner, and they talk about how they disassemble the games so that they can create these tools so that other people can create mods. And it's heavy duty nerd stuff.
Yeah, I think I caught just the tail end of that because was that the one that you posted?
Yeah.
I caught it.
Yeah.
So do people have to go to the Twitch channel and wait for it to post up, or is there a place where all these are available?
I think Jess had mentioned that they were going to put an aggregated post out, but right now, if you want to listen to that particular one, you would go to Chad's Twitch channel, and it's in his
Chad 76, I think it is, or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, and it's in his playlist. But
King Gath is definitely a hero. I mean, Sim Settlements is amazing.
Oh yeah,
and all the stuff there, the whole team.
Yeah, and he knew enough about what was going on to really be able to get Elminster to, really explain in depth. The section I'm on right now, they were talking about Starfield and the differences in the programming and how that works and what it's going to mean.
Did they talk about the difference between the creation kit that Starfield's built on and the older creation kit that everything else is built on, or?
Not a lot.
Probably couldn't talk about some of it.
Yeah. Well, and so Bethesda still hasn't released the creation kit 2 for Starfield yet.
Right. Yeah.
So right now that's all being done through Xedit. So, but it's, it was a really good conference. There were a lot of interesting showcases. The Skywind, Capital Wasteland project, the people from Fallout London.
Oh, nice.
Had a talk.
Any presence from Ice Cream Assassin's crew?
Did not see anything.
Yeah. For anybody who's listening who doesn't know, that's the author of Legacy of the Dragonborn and the upcoming later one.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for
Me
it.
too.
It looks, that trailer was
definitely got the blood pumping.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So right now, we know that Fallout London is going to be available mid-April. The Skywind people didn't have a date, but it sounded like they were pretty far along.
Huh.
And they had some gameplay footage, but it didn't really mean anything to me because I'd never played Morrowind.
Yeah.
I've played so little Morrowind that
Same here. I played a little bit and couldn't get past that old game jankiness.
Exactly.
And that's my fault, not the game's fault.
No, agreed.
Right.
Yeah. So,
it was an excellent game when it came out.
Yes, like Witcher 1, and it's the same thing where he's running around with a sword like this the whole time, and but it's still a great game if you can get past a lot of that.
So Eleonora had a panel and she released her new armor compendium.
Oh, nice.
So I guess that's kind of like a shadow drop.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun seeing these modders, doing these things. So they're, on Zoom calls and stuff, or on, their Twitch streams, and, their cats are walking across their keyboards.
Yeah.
It was a good conference. And I get the feedback sounds like it was positive enough that, that all the people involved, on the corporate side, were anxious to do it again.
Good.
So we should have another one next year.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Well, maybe they'll have post all the interviews and videos and things.
Yeah, I think they will.
Yeah. Because I couldn't watch any of it, or very little of it.
Yeah. And it was, for the first one, it was pretty well done. There were a few points where, the idea of the program was you would start watching on the first Twitch channel, and on Chad's channel, and then, every segment would get passed off to somebody else's Twitch, so they would raid, the next presenter. But there were a few times where, somebody would type the name in wrong, and so they wouldn't raid over. And, I'd look over. I had it running on a side screen while I was, playing games. And you'd look over and the screen would be static, and you're like, okay, you have to scramble to find out where the next one went and everything. But it was really well done. I had a good time watching the stream. Yeah, can't say enough about Jess's contribution on it. She was super nervous, and you could tell she was nervous at the beginning, but she really got into it and did a really good job.
Good for her.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to watching it all.
Yeah, I'm hopeful to see where it's available to be able to at least watch or listen to. Or
yeah. But I think once they get the clips put together, Jess will post a link, so that we can have easy access.
Yeah.
Speaking of mods, I played a Bruma character.
Oh.
Speaking of one of the bigger mods, actually. I hadn't been in Bruma in a while. I thought there wasn't as many quests as I thought there was, or I remembered, but I think I went through them all. But it is really nicely designed. But man, there aren't a lot of shortcuts like getting places.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say that.
And, everything's up on top of mountains.
Yeah. You need to follow the roads.
Yeah.
You definitely need to follow the roads. But the town looks great. The Elliot ruins look really good.
Yeah.
But I had a good time playing through it. I think I got through every quest, even all the little like fetch ones and stuff like that. I started a character that was only in Bruma and only did the Bruma stuff, and that was it. So it was, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't like a super long playthrough or anything, but it was fun to go through. I haven't played through that mod in probably 5 years. I think.
Yeah. That's about the last time I did.
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
Oh, heads up for people who download it on Xbox. There are 2 versions. There's a 4-part version and a 6-part version. The 6-part is the newer one. So if it says 1 out of 6 or 2 out of 6, whatever, that's the ones you gotta download, not the 1 out of 4, 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4, which I learned after starting.
Oops.
And then doing a little bit of research, and was like, "Oh, I'm going to start over." Thankfully, it was very, very early, but yeah. So I cleared that out real quick and switched over. But I pretty much just used like Bruma. Really,
I thought about loading that into my latest Legacy of the Dragonborn, but I just didn't want to.
That would be great with that, because there's so much so much other stuff there.
Yeah, it's fully compatible, right?
Yeah.
So, but I was afraid I wouldn't catch all the patches I'd need and all that stuff. So I just decided not to.
Yeah, fair enough. It was also like, for me, obviously I only have a certain amount of space because of being on console. It takes up a lot of, it takes up a lot of space. Yeah. It is fun though. It's I love that you can see the, Imperial City from up on the hill, and it'll be nice once all that starts to open up and all the other areas are added. Because I did watch the it was from a few months back, but their little like update on where they're at in all the different areas of Cyrodiil and how far along they are with quests and all kinds of things, structures, etc., interiors, exteriors, all that kind of stuff. So that was pretty great to see. But I guess the grand plan is, once it's all added together, there's an overarching quest line that'll go through it all. But yeah, it's a really fun mod. And then I added a few that I've never actually done before. One I already kind of went through. Let's see. All these are all ones. Death Consumes All I'm in the middle of now. There's like a plague in Skyrim, and you have to kind of investigate it. There's generic NPCs that you have to kind of talk to in each city. They're just labeled like mage or like pilgrim. You can spot them pretty easily because they're all like doing the same thing or walking to the same place. I'm just in the beginning of that, but that's apparently a pretty decent long story.
Is it like Periite related, or is it just
I don't know, actually. It's a good question, because I didn't really want to spoil myself on it. Like, so I only read the very basic outline on it. So I don't know if that's where it ends up leading to or not. But you have to figure out where these where the dead are rising from, I guess, essentially. And then there's a little one, Isobel and the Adventurers Guild, which is basically a follower mod. But nice. You get a little Adventurers Guild and a short little quest line where she kind of becomes your follower. You like take her as an apprentice almost in the beginning. You do like 3 or 4 dungeon crawls, and then you go back to the Adventurers Guild each time, and eventually, she's just a follower. It would be nice if the Adventurers Guild had more quests attached to it, but for like a little follower mod, where you have to actually earn their trust and stuff, it works pretty well. And I haven't tried Shadows. I got Shahrazine, Fate of Tamriel loaded in, and Shadows of the Guild, but I haven't gotten into either of those yet because I literally just started the character the other day. And also I have Far Cry 5 hopping into as well. So there was that. But
that can take up a lot of time.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. So I'm like trying to balance the two right now, and so this one's like getting less time because I just played through Bruma. So.
It really is a great game. We've been over that before. It's definitely a favorite.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the only game that I've ever done, trophies with.
Oh wow!
Because there was really only one trophy I wanted, and that was the fishing trophy. And it wasn't really an achievement. It was just something that you got in the game by catching all the different kinds of fish. And you get the very best fly rods.
Oh.
And
There's a lake way up in the mountains is it northwest? Did you ever camp out up there? Because it's a great place to hunt, and to fish.
Yeah. I fished in every single body of water in the game.
Yeah.
If it showed up on the map as a lake or a stream, I was there.
Excellent.
Nice.
So, super fun game.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wish 6 was as good, but it's not. So, oh well.
Yeah,
That one still hasn't caught hold for me yet.
No, it hasn't caught you yet either.
I didn't like it much either.
Yeah.
So
I haven't hopped into that one at all. I'm kind of figuring out the mechanics in 5, so I'm probably going to do like a restart once I figure out like my bearings within the game. Playing
it's like 4. 4 didn't really gel with me either that much. Primal I liked more, just playing through that. But 4 just same thing. Well, I haven't. I've done some in Legacy of the Dragonborn. I've been working on the Thieves Guild, and of course, we talked about this, or I talked about it last time that I have this I forget the name of the mod now. It's At Your Own Pace, I think it's called.
Oh yeah.
So it takes a really long time to especially in the Thieves Guild. You got to do 10 or 15, fetches for decks and etc.
Really earn your
before
way
you even get to see
Delvin.
No, not Delvin.
Mercer Frey.
Mercer.
Frey.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, wrong one.
Yeah. Anyway, so I haven't even got to see Mercer, but the Legacy of the Dragonborn quest line has been progressing, and all I've got to say is a raccoon, please.
Oh, the raccoon, yes.
That was sorry.
You got up to the raccoon.
It was just way too much work for a raccoon. And a staff made of ice or whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's still a lot of fun.
The raccoon does hang out at the guild hall a lot, though, which is nice.
Yeah. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, fine, great, okay, but no. Fafnir is not a good name for a raccoon. But
yeah,
I'm loving just getting through that mod and in sort of, because I'm enjoying the breadth of that mod and how deeply integrated into the game it is. I decided to, I think I alluded to this last time as well, that I decided to start up a playthrough of Sim Settlements 2. So I went into Fallout 4 and started that. So I've been progressing in that as well. And I read up a little bit more, and I read his admonitions at the beginning not to settle. I think you were mentioning this last time, Ray, that the Death Triangle or whatever it's called there, and where Sanctuary and Abernathy and the Red Rocket are sort of a well-known pit of crashes.
Yeah.
So I decided to build my first settlement down at the drive-in theater, which has actually worked out really well, and I've enjoyed it. It's actually quite advanced now, so enjoying that. And the quest line for that is also really, really good. It's well developed and stuff. So I'm sort of moving my way through the Sim Settlements 2 storyline. It's good. So I'm having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, I did.
But that's all I got.
Yeah, I finished up. Oh my gosh, cat just hopped on the office chair and spun it in circles. I finished up all of the stuff that I got screwed up on my last Legacy of the Dragonborn.
Good.
All the snow elf stuff and all that. What was that quest line called? It's the last guild quest line. Trial of Turnimac. The Trial of Turnimac one.
Okay.
I finally got all the way through that and finished it up. So I was like, oh yes, I'm done that. And then I was like, all right, time to move on to something else. That's when I moved on to Bruma. But that was fun. And then that was a good long quest. Like the quests associated with the guild and the museum are actually pretty long, and especially as the later ones. There's a lot to them where you have to go back and do the mining, like where the raccoon is and all. You're going back and forth. And Yeah.
And to build a planetarium and everything and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. I'm not sure I'm going to make it to that because I really want to, as soon as things have progressed enough on the Nexus and after these latest updates and all the, the important mods have been updated, I really just want to update Skyrim and get things settled back down.
Yeah.
And I can't do that while I'm playing this legacy playthrough. So
Yeah.
we'll see if I make it all the way through or not. Plus, I'm involved with another game right now. So we'll talk about that at the end.
Yeah, I went so far as to change my manifest file to a read only. So my Skyrim is locked down to pre-creation version.
Oh, okay.
And can't be changed.
Oh,
wow.
So that's what? So 0.640 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it's the one just right before the creations were added.
Yeah. That's where I am too. So we'll have to see. I mean, as far as I know, it hasn't everything, all the quote important stuff has been updated.
Yeah.
A couple, 3 times now, including SKC and address library and all the other ones. And the modders who've said, no, I'll never do that. That's fine. Okay. They're there. So why did you decide to lock it down that hard?
Because Starfield updated, and I couldn't play that. And my Fallout 3 on my main computer, which was working great, and modded up, it crashed. And even after I deleted everything and reloaded it from scratch, it still wouldn't boot up.
Wow.
So I was so jaded at that point that I'm like, I need one game that will always start.
Will actually work.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
And so I went in and I changed that manifest file, which is about as hardcore as you can get.
Well, that'll limit you at some point with newer versions of existing mods, right? So because there'll be a version ahead of where you are.
Yeah. So but I've started. So one of the key mods that you need to make that transition is the backported extended ESL support.
Right. Yeah.
So I've got that in there now. So that any of the older mods that don't get updated for the extended ESL support will still work.
Right.
So I'll make that change eventually. But at the point that I did all that, it was just the peak of frustration, and so I just needed something that.
I can't blame you. I every time I open Steam, I obsessively look at my downloads file, make sure it's still listed as
that's
update on only on launch and stuff.
Yeah. I had Skyrim set that way.
Yeah.
But at some point before the most recent patch, which was not the creation patch, but one after it, it had got reverted back to automatic update. Yeah,
well, that's why I check every time I boot the computer and Steam. Yeah. First thing I check is that. But did you because that happened to me too a year or so ago during the last big mod apocalypse, and somehow, and I think it might have been my own fault. I think I from Mod Organizer, I think I just booted it enough to have it check the to reset the video. You know how it does when you run it from the launcher.
Yeah.
And I did not think to go back and set it back again, and then it automatically updated. And by that time, luckily for me anyway, at that point, all the mods had been updated, and I just redid everything, and it was okay. So I get where you're at.
Yeah. So I just re-archived
Mm-hmm.
and loaded up that older version again, left all my mods the way they were so that once I had it rolled back, everything just started up the way it should.
Yeah.
and then made that manifest file change.
Wow. Huh.
So, and since then I've done it to my Fallout 4 as well. Because at some point in time, we're going to get the Fallout 4 remaster.
Right. But isn't that going to be a separate game?
We're not really sure. They haven't said.
Oh, okay. I thought that was going to be more like a Skyrim SE kind of thing.
They're not talking like it is. They're talking like it's only going to be a texture update for, mainly pointed at consoles.
Okay. All right. Well,
right now it's looking like there's not going to be much for the PC player in that new game. Well,
I mean, us PC players are so much superior. Anyway, we don't need that.
Yeah. We're waiting for them to catch up to us.
Oh, wait. Yeah. That's right.
It's very true.
But, yeah. So, but now everything's working again. I'm playing Fallout 3 on an older computer, and that works just fine.
Cool.
And Starfield, the last mod that was holding me up, was updated, and so I got that rolling again. So
excellent. Awesome.
So it's all going good. And then, nobody can say that advertising doesn't work on them, because I was scrolling through my Twitter and there was an ad for Borderlands. And so I downloaded my first Borderlands, the Game of the Year edition, and started playing that.
Borderlands 1? Wow.
Yeah.
That's wow. Back ways. Yeah.
So definitely living the nostalgia. My first Fallout game and my first Borderlands game.
Nice.
So it's so much fun being back in Fallout 3. It's clunky as all get out, but there's just so much nostalgia.
Yeah. There definitely is. It's the same thing that gets me about that game that gets me about some of the other earlier Bethesda games. It's just the color palette. I can't. It just drags me down emotionally. I don't know. That sounds like super frou-frou and bullshit, but it's just too green brown, and so I have to mod it at least to the extent where it looks prettier, and then I can play it.
That's understandable.
But you need to evoke that bleakness.
No, sorry. That's why I prefer fantasy games over
you and your damn hope.
That's right. Fuck hope. That's right. Yeah, you're right. It's lame. I agree.
There is a bleakness to some of that, though.
Oh, yeah, it's all about the bleakness.
Yeah.
Well, the just to get back a little bit to modding and that exact sort of subject, the Fallout 4 that I'm playing with Sim Settlements is based on the Wabbajack mod list magnum opus, and in that the flora is completely changed. It's lots of big huge pine trees and lots of greenery and stuff like that. So it's an enjoyable environment. It's pretty good if your machine can handle that. If you have enough space, it's a couple hundred gigs, and you have probably a 2000 series NVIDIA card or equivalent Radeon. It's a good mod list to play.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried playing with a big tree mod in Fallout 4, but I could not find my way anywhere.
Oh, really?
Because, I'm used to being able to, see through the, the.
Well, do you remember way back
forest
years ago now was simply bigger trees? That it was like that in Skyrim.
Yes,
too.
yeah.
There was just branches everywhere.
And you couldn't.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing with Skyrim is that I never played it without mods. And so that was just the way it was. And so
there is a mod in Skyrim. I don't know if you guys have ever tried it, called I think it's called the Great Forest of Whiterun, which basically puts an entire forest on the tundra.
Oh.
And so if you're used to playing Skyrim with the tundra as it is in the vanilla game, or even a modded part of the game where it's just got different, looking stuff, you get completely lost. It's exactly that. It's just cannot find your way around. It's wandering around for hours looking for a halted stream camp or whatever.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I know it's around here somewhere.
Yes, lost in the forest,
Oh,
and then that stupid saber cat, which is always out there, jumps you from behind a tree instead of out in the middle.
Oh, gosh.
I can't see him coming.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, saber cat is always there. So
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah. I finally took my Khajiit to Solstheim.
Oh.
So I'd gotten through most of the caves in Skyrim, so I wanted to start going through the caves in Solstheim.
Nice.
And so the problem is that so many of them are big, like Raven Rock Mine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's a great dungeon, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, they're fabulous, but it took me forever to find that thief stash.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
There were so many places to look.
Oh, God, that's a good point. Yeah.
But
that's a really great, and that's more vertical than so many than a lot of other dungeons, and that Bethesda built dungeons. It's super vertical. I like that one a lot. I also like the storyline with the cranky old guy.
Yes.
Not that I'm like that or anything, but just nice as a concept.
Okay, gracious.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot you were doing the where you had to search for the
for the thief stash.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of places where I'm just like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I can't find it. It's must be a bug.
This must be a bug.
That's right.
It's got to be bugged. Yeah.
Damn game. Write a strongly worded letter.
Oh, man. Yeah, I got to go through and see what's on Bethesda.net. Look through it. See what other stuff. I tried searching. It's always so hard searching on the console. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I got to actually go on Bethesda.net and search. It's just easier because it's just it's so the search is terrible.
I actually on the other side of the PC hell, I actually found myself on Falcon Northwest's website the other day, looking at PCs there.
Oh,
they are so gorgeous and so bloody expensive. So I spec'd one out. It was just under $6,000.
Oh, is that all?
I closed the tab.
Yeah, with Fallout 3, I was afraid I was going to have to dig out one of my old XP hard drives.
Oh, God.
And put together a computer that would run it. Because, man, that was, so at first I thought, okay, well, I must have, borked something on the mods. So I started going through my mods. It wasn't a big mod list. It was a lot of textures. So I didn't think that was going to be it. So, but I, went through and deleted everything one by one. Then that didn't work. So I purged all the mods and tried it. Still wouldn't load. I could get to the start screen, but as soon as I clicked on a new game, it would crash to desktop.
Wow.
So then I deleted the whole thing, even the Good Old Games launcher,
Okay.
and reloaded everything again, and it still crashes. So I have no idea what happened.
So is there something maybe in your app data files that you haven't purged yet?
I'm not sure. It was playing just fine.
Yeah.
But now it acts like it just.
It sounds like there's an INI file somewhere that's loading that you're not aware of.
Yeah, could be.
Because if it crashes like that, it's usually like, isn't it? It's in my experience anyway. It's usually some kind of video issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and I went through all of the, this is what you need to do to get it to run on a, modern PC. Went through all those. None of that worked.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a special, I forget what it's called. Yes. There's a special launcher file. Yeah.
So I loaded it on my crappy old 2-year-old computer.
There you go. That's the way to go, man. Kicking it old school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
So I can keep going back. I build a new computer about every 2 years.
Yeah.
There you go.
Pretty soon you'll be back on that Xeos.
So behind me is the computer graveyard.
Oh, God.
I can, I've got, Windows 10 machine, which is this one. I've got a Windows 7 machine. I've got a Windows XP machine. If I tried hard enough, I think down in the basement, I might have an old Windows 98 machine.
Oh, my.
Oh, wow.
So
Xeos was my first Windows machine, and I think that was Windows 3.1.
Yeah.
486.
Yeah. Yeah, I think mine was a 386 IBM running 3.1.
That was my first post Amiga IBM. Those computers.
Before that, it was my dad had given me a TI 99A.
Ooh, nice, very nice.
While he sported his fancy TI Geneva computer.
Yeah, how'd that go for him?
Good. I think he ended up selling it to somebody in Norway or something.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Like only 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh,
wow.
For a mint.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good for him. That's awesome.
It's good that it's still around and being used or collected or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well,
now, I have an old friend who's been a Tandy collector for decades now. We used to work on the road together back in the 80s and early 90s, and we would go to every freaking Radio Shack everywhere, Decatur, Illinois, and Fargo, North Dakota. Wherever we were, we went to the radio, and he bought some amazing. He'd go in there and say, "Hey, what do you got in the back room?" And just pick up all this old hardware. He had every single model they ever built, and sometimes multiple.
Oh, wow. Handy.
Yeah. All the way from Model 1 all the way through the 2000. Pretty cool computers.
Man.
Well, yes, enough for historical computer.
Yeah. I mean, we are playing a 12-year-old game.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah. I loved my Amiga, man. It was a great computer. It was a great gaming computer. Anyway, but so other games.
Oh yeah, what was the other game you were playing?
I've been playing Enshrouded, and I have to say that it is not only is it really good as it stands, I think it has a huge amount of potential. It's
really?
a really, really good game. $26. It is. You're going to go out there and look on the web and read reviews and all the slogans and whatever people say. It's Valheim and Dark Souls, together, and it's not. But it is a game like Valheim in that it's a open world survival game.
Okay.
That involves lots of crafting, and it's a pretty open world. It's not procedural to the extent that Valheim is, it is a voxel world. So so in that respect, it is more like Minecraft, where you can simply just dig and cut and do anything you want to the world. It will regenerate if you reload the game. Everything goes back, and but I think where Enshrouded sort of steps beyond just being yet another open world survival game with some tricks and stuff, and becomes a game with incredible potential, is that it actually has a storyline. It has RPG elements. It's got a real skill tree, unlike Valheim. And so you can create characters that have real, true RPG, style, paradigms. So you can create a mage, you can create a tank, and so you have all this potential. It's really good that way. And the skill tree the game is in early access, so there's lots of stuff that needs to be worked on, but the skill tree is really deep as it stands now. And I think the developer is really on top of stuff. They are updating it constantly. They had I wouldn't call it rocky, but the launch was a little fraught. We had a lot of troubles, and so I mean we bought I started a dedicated server immediately and Kate and Sean have gone they've already finished the freaking game, and they're on to other stuff, and they're going back and starting to build stuff. I'm way behind, but it's so the game, the story basics of the game is it's not a post-apocalyptic world in like a modern one like Fallout or whatever, or let's actually, a better example would be like Horizon Zero Dawn. It's not that kind of post-apocalyptic world, but it is a post-apocalyptic world. In other words, the human race did something and went a little too far, and this thing called the Shroud was created. And the Shroud is this cloud of poison that kind of settles in the low spots in the world, and these awful things grow in there, and these distorted creatures grow in there, so I think the end game is going to be ridding the entire world of this Shroud. As it stands now, the game in its early access, about a quarter of the entire map, which is huge, it's a giant map, is available, and you have to go into the Shroud to fight bosses and monsters and grab resources and bring them back. The building element of the game is easily as good as Valheim. It's different, a very different way of doing it, which is really cool. I think Valheim does some things a little bit better, but the game is also the design of the devs designed it as a co-op game. It was meant to be played co-op on a server. I play it by myself on my little private server because my kids have gotten so far beyond me that so there's parts of the game that are not quite as forgiving as Valheim. In other words, once on the server, once certain progress marks have been reached, if your character is behind your partners on the server, you're not going to be able to gain those skill points. So you need to go back to your private world and do that, which is why I'm playing somewhat separate from my kids, because they're just. But the gameplay is easily as seamless as Valheim, which I think is actually, Valheim is sort of an archetype. It's a beautifully built game. It was so well and rounded and well done and so seamless that it's a really great example of a game that was released in early access, but that was so fully developed. And so I think Enshrouded is trying very hard to be as good as that in terms of its of its gameplay, and they've done pretty well. So it's very similar. You load into your dedicated server, you can play with everybody, but Enshrouded has things, like I said, RPG elements that, for instance, Valheim doesn't have. You can play as a healer. Kate, my daughter, loves to play. So you take certain perk points. So every time she's near somebody, everybody heals, a point per whatever cycle of the timer. So it's truly developed as a co-op game. It's really great. And the world is gorgeous. It's their own engine. They built their own engine for the world. It's beautiful. It's a very, very deeply fantasy based game. Distant snow-covered mountains and beautiful forests and lots of vertical. You gain the ability within the first few hours of play to make your own. Sorry, I can only think of Tears of the Kingdom. Whatever the first one was, the glider. So you have a glider because it's a very vertical game as well. There's lots of tall buildings and mountains and things that you can climb up and jump off and fly. So you have a grappling hook and a glider very early in the game. It's really good. I don't want to gush on and on and on, but I would recommend anybody to spend the $26 and try the game. Very, very good. And if you like open world survival and you like building cool structures that look great, just that alone with the crafting is worth the gameplay. And the combat is good. In fact, very good. The bosses are difficult. You have difficulty level. You can play at low, medium, high, super hard. It's really good. Highly recommended.
That sounds super interesting. Like Valheim with RPG elements is like,
yes,
that's fantastic.
It's a lot of stuff that I wish, I love Valheim. I love going back into Valheim and playing for a while, but yes, eventually it feels empty because there's just no story there.
Yeah.
And this game has a story. And now, the story may get tiresome after, multiple hours of play. I don't know. But right now it feels good. It's really well done. Highly recommend.
Yeah, having a story to continue. Like the building is fun, but without that story to like keep you moving.
There's a lot of aesthetics. It's a German developer, so there's lots of very European notes to it in terms of the way it looks, the fantasy, the way the fantasy is depicted. So the forest, it's all very Northern European, the way it looks, and the mythology, etc. So there's that. But I think, the game, like I said, the map is immense. It's I believe it's like 100 by 100 kilometers in physical size, and the current world is about a quarter of that. So eventually they'll open up the entire map. And I'd say, though the flora is procedural, the world itself is pretty much bespoke. All the important things are fixed locations. But yeah, we've had a lot of
fun. What's going on over at the Fallout feed and in No Man's Sky world, Ray?
No Man's Sky, we're on pins and needles.
Oh, you're still waiting.
Still waiting, and even
I feel
worse,
like this has been an ongoing waiting for 4 months at this point.
Yeah, but every day there's a new update to the internal branch of the game.
Oh God!
And so it's like, well, what in the world are you doing? Just come out with something.
What are you setting up? Is the question, right?
Yeah, I mean it's it's crazy. we're used to, an update to internal branch. And then the next day there's an update to the experimental branch. And then there's an announcement. But we've got internal update, internal update, internal update, internal update. So either they're just having fun playing the game and like, oh, we forgot to give it to you guys too. Or, they're just trying to get something going and it's just not quite working.
Or they're spending all their time working on the world gets on fire or whatever the hell the next one is called.
Yeah, light snow fire.
Yeah. So maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, could be. But, still that's no excuse for updating the internal branch and getting us all excited.
Well, you're going to find out that Light No Fire is actually a planet somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. In No Man's Sky. Yeah.
Yep.
And you're going to have to find it.
Yeah.
Go find it. Yeah.
Yeah. In the 243rd galaxy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, and then of course, we just rolled characters on the Fallout feed for our next roundtable, which is going to be the Fallout 3 DLC.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So,
all of them?
All of them but Broken Steel.
Okay.
Because that one you have to complete the main story.
Oh, that's right.
In total.
Yeah.
Before you can start that.
Yeah. That's right.
So we're going to do the Pit, Point Lookout, and Mothership Zeta.
Oh, that's the one with the mothership. Okay. Yeah.
So we'll hang out on the alien ship.
Yes. For some reason, I always think that's in New Vegas, but it's in, no, it's in 3.
Yeah. So there's, there is a spaceship in New Vegas too.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
And Fallout 4.
And 4. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's kind of a running theme through the game.
Or a joke.
Yeah.
Not sure which. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't figured out which either. So,
so looking forward to diving into that. I kind of ran amok and my character's already up to level 8. So,
that's a good start. In 3,
it's fun to be back.
Does 3?
Yeah.
Do you level up fast in 3?
No, slower.
Slower, right? Yeah. Okay.
There's a perk you can take that helps you level up 10% faster. But I didn't take that one.
Okay.
And still level up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the originally the game, the max level was 20.
Yeah.
And then with the Broken Steel, they added 10 more.
That's right.
So
that's right.
max level is 30 now.
Wow. That's right.
So,
and I'm trying to remember Broken Steel on that one. That wasn't the snowy thing, was it?
No, that's Anchorage.
That's Anchorage. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's still the Brotherhood Outcasts. You do a simulation with them.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. It's been a while since I played 3. I did love 3, but it's been a while since I played 3.
Yeah.
It has definitely has a very Oblivion feel to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Same era.
Very close to,
Yeah.
Within a year of each other. Right?
Yeah, very close in time. Yeah. I really loved exploring in 3 though a lot. I don't know why. Even though you had to hop kind of around and stuff like that, there wasn't a simple, fully open world.
Yeah, no sprinting away from anything.
No.
and the mole rats are huge.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I keep mistaking them for bears. And it's like, oh no, it's just a mole rat.
Rodents of unusual size.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that was Vegas.
Yeah.
If you take the Wild Wasteland perk, you get the rodents of unusual size.
Oh man, that's a good callback.
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens next time. What we're up to then.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Indeed.
something.
I did play. Oh, I should just mention very quickly, if anybody's been following a game called Nightingale, I got into the basically the server test, and I played about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I can't really comment a lot because I'm not supposed to. It's very pretty, but I didn't really enjoy it a whole lot. So we'll have to see how much it evolves. But it has, it's a huge amount of potential. It's yet another one of these. I think it's more of a Dark Souls like, combat, but it's very pretty. And also I think the devs are very, sort of honoring Obsidian and, is it Obsidian that Dishonored?
Yeah, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it has a very Dishonored feel to the character models. Anyway, it's got potential.
Cool. All right. I've been checking off different mods I'm going to try, actually. So see what happens there, too. Cool. I am still loving Cheat Room, though. For anybody playing on Xbox who doesn't have access to console commands, definitely load it in. Because it just makes building your character a billion times easier to start with.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just essentially the console commands in, chest and button
in object
form.
object form.
Yeah, in object form. Yeah. You have physical buttons and chests with stuff in it versus just putting in the code for the item or whatever. But it allows you to actually build a character, do what you want, and not always have to start back at the beginning. Especially if you're using like Live Another Life, where you're going to be starting somewhere. Well, maybe you want to be something very specific and want to add, what you need to do that. It works out nice for that. So I've been really enjoying how that helps build a different type of character for console players. Anyway. Yep.
Well, there really isn't something like that for PC where you can do that at that level. Is there? There's the Realm of Lorcan, right? So
yeah.
But that takes a lot of learning to figure it out.
Yeah, right? I want to go back to that again, but it's so man.
It really is. It's you got to fuck around in there for quite a while to figure out.
Yeah, because when I hopped into it right after Ray had mentioned it, I was like, I felt like I was completely lost for the first 10 minutes. I'm like, wait, I gotta get. Oh, I can go over here and get this, and then I can go over there.
Yeah,
it is. It's spread out all over the place.
Oh yeah, there was so many areas, and then there's like some things where you got to like almost parkour to get to them and things like that.
Oh yeah, the first time I wanted to build a sneak character, and wanted to get to the thief stone. I'm like, okay, so every other stone is here except for the thief. Well, no, you have to jump from this barrel onto a ledge, onto a pergola, climb up the levels of the pergola, and then jump up onto, this little floating platform. And up there is your thief stone.
Yeah, I hate to say it. It was like, I did a lot of that stuff, and by the time I was done with it, I felt like I'd played a whole freaking game, and I didn't play Skyrim anymore. It's like, nah.
That was definitely how I felt.
And again, that's just totally me. It was not the realm of Lorcan. I think
I was going to start an alchemist character, and so it really was hours going around the entire place, picking every flower, every hanging moss. It was everywhere.
That's kind of cool, though. I hadn't thought of it that way, but you're right. That's very cool.
And when you're done, you're just absolutely loaded down with stuff, and but it's everywhere, and you're going, up and down, and falling off, and when you fall off, you start over at the beginning. You
start over again, yes.
But sometimes that's actually the easiest way to get to the next place you want to go. So you just jump.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting mod, but I don't miss it.
Yeah. Okay. I don't feel so bad then.
Yeah. I will say for building a character, it just takes so long that, yeah, like you were saying, you felt like you played a whole game by the time you get to the game itself. But it's a very cool idea, and very interesting, and very creative. It's just.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly does. You don't feel like you've cheated.
No.
Oh, no.
Because you've worked your ass off so hard.
Yeah.
You earned it. Yeah. It's maybe a different way than in the game itself, but you earned it.
Yeah.
I'll stick with
you could do anything you want. I mean, it's all there.
It's so creative the way they did it. I will say it is a really interesting idea.
Yeah. And there's even a place if you want to become a vampire, where you can go in this bloody sewer grate, and there's a vampire down there, and they'll give you,
sanguinarius.
Yeah. Sounds good. Well, if anybody plays Rumble Arcane wants, or not plays it, like uses it, sorry, although you feel like you played it, let us know how that went for you. But we'll be back next time, and we'll be into something and playing something. So
no doubt.
Who knows what computer array will be on by then?
The one downstairs is getting a little long in the tooth. It's been 6 or 7 months.
Oh gosh, 6 or 7 months. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.
Bye.